The DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ about the show.
It is Tuesday night. It is 8 o'clock. Do you know where your DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. It is Buddy with the DJ Roundtable. And again, we have another great week with some more great DJs. And we have some guest DJs. And tonight, for you guys out there asking for it, we have two Australian DJs. That's right. Two Australian DJs from the great continent of Australia. Both of them are here. And to prove you guys that there's more than one DJ in Australia, there you go. Well, we have great DJs from all around the country and all around the globe. And hopefully you're enjoying it tonight. If you haven't done so already, if you're watching this on Twitch, do me a favor. Make sure you follow the channel here. And if you're watching this over on the tubes, do us a big favor and do me a big favor. Please make sure you hit the like button, give the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. One more thing, share the video to another DJ. That would be great. Now, one of the things I look at is with the algorithm on YouTube, and I see 82% of the people watching are not subscribed to the channel. I'm like, why is that? So tell me why in the comments. Why do you not subscribe to the channel? Give me a heads up. Give me a reason why you're not subscribing to the channel down in the comments. Other than that, if you got any questions, critiques, criticism, tomfoolery, anything as such, put it down below. I want to hear it. I want to see it. And I want to know what you're thinking and what you want to see. We always ask a lot of great questions. Jim, I see you out there. Good old Jim out there in California. How are you doing, sir? Hopefully you're enjoying your little time off now. And I want to introduce Pete. Pete is a local DJ here to the Chicagoland area. I've known him for a few years. And he is a great DJ. He has a mobile DJ service and has a little history in the radio area. Pete, you want to give everyone your elevator speech, your 5-minute synopsis on your business?
You mean the one that I hadn't thought about? I've been doing this just to give you guys and forget the elevator speech because I'm not in the mood or in the mindset to come up with a clever one. But I've been DJing a little over 41 years at this point. Done radio, mobile, clubs, all different types of parties, almost except maybe funerals and divorce parties, but birthdays, weddings, all that other good stuff. So I've been working consistently in radio part-time. I started in 83. I was out of it for about 8 years while I was doing clubs and mobiles, and got back in 96, and I've been part-time radio since 96, different stations in the Chicago area, Rockford area, and currently working full-time on the business side of one of those stations that I've been at for going on 22 years now. So, but the full-time thing just started about a year and a half ago. In the meantime, I was working, a regular 9-to-5 job. I got severanced out in 2019. Tried hotel AV for about 11 months. COVID hit, and that's when I did mortgage servicing for a few years, and then I got into radio. But the consistent thing through that whole time has been mobile DJ.
I will tell you. I'll tell you the one cool thing with I always like talking to Pete because he has a wealth of knowledge. Pete is a very soft-spoken person. He doesn't flash his knowledge, but if you have a question, I've asked him plenty of questions, and it's always great takes on information from him. And because of his experience, not just doing events, but also doing in the club and also doing it on broadcast, he has a lot of great insight. Jeff just retired as a camera person from a local TV station there in beautiful North Carolina. So he has broadcast experience, not broadcasting over a radio, but dealing with video and stuff like that, and dealing with the broadcast realm or world. He just retired from that. Now he's doing DJing full time. So you guys share something in common there, both being in that world, and that's a very unique place to be in. And again, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming in tonight. And I know you're gonna have some great insight on everything we talk about. First thing first, I know missed last week with Brentley because he was out with home studio, and you touched on the last episode really quickly. We talked a little bit about it, and you said you got Mackie speakers for monitors in your home stereo. Not your home stereo, your home system that you use where you're at now, and you have a couple of different setups. One for practicing music, one for obviously for here. Um, but the question is, where do you like more? Do you like to have more of your studio where you're at now, or the studio downstairs with the music?
Well, this one, like, okay, this like where I'm at now is like where I prep all my stuff outside of marking cue points. What's behind me? I've always got my DDJRZ and my turntables set up. So at any given time, if I just want to, the kid's not home or her friends are downstairs, I can plug in and just go play. And that's more, personal time for me when I want to practice, come up with some new transitions, that sort of thing. Then downstairs, if like after the show tonight, I've got all my new downloads, all the new charts. By the way, the new Weekend album is god awful, but oh, it's terrible. Wow, I thought the one with Blinding Lights was bad. This is ridiculous. But downstairs, I have my Rev 7 set up, and it's plugged into a sound bar that's got a subwoofer, so I can just sit around, mark cue points. If I've got an idea while I'm sitting around the house, I can go do it. And then all the rest of my gear is stored in my, where I keep my gear in my garage. I've got one of my decks at one of the La Crosse Beer House. It just kind of lives there now because I'm there every Thursday. So I've got different spots. My favorite spot, honestly, is when I can be sitting in my pajamas in my living room downstairs, sucking back a White Claw and playing a little bit. That, in my own space. It's kind of nice. Up here is definitely when I come to where I want to sort some new ideas out for club sets and really dig into some, like prep, mixing, practicing, and getting like running a transition 1,000 times so I like the way it sounds. So that's definitely what this room up here, and kind of why I took the second floor of this 2-flat I'm in. So I could, one, not have neighbors, but two, have a space that I could really work at.
And that's the important thing. It's what works best for you. And then Pete, this I'm going to touch with you because you were on last week and it's the first time you're on here. But I know you have a little home studio there. What do you what do you have in your setup there in your home studio? What do you use for speakers? What do you use for? Do you have a controller, or you just use software, or do you have vinyl? Are you spinning vinyl there?
I have about 3 bookshelves full of vinyl sitting behind me, left over from my club days. Most of them are the 12-inch remixes, though there's a small section that are full-length albums. I still have the original 1200s I bought, never giving those up. Sorry, guys. And right now the studio has got an NS7 III. I don't know if you can see that or not. NS7 III for speakers. I'm using a Sony bookshelf stereo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nothing big down here. And I've got a little, what is this, Behringer mixer that I got free when I bought my Geon 2s or Eon G2s. And that's it. And everything's actually connected to the one and only desktop PC that I have down here that I use for office stuff as well, for business stuff. And then I just have 2 monitors over here by the controller that are just mirrors of the 2 monitors that I have on my computer desk.
Cool. And again, this is the important stuff. Every DJ has a different area. Last week when I put the video up, I have a picture of my setup from my viewpoint, for my screens and stuff like that, all the big screens and everything. And I have Pioneer DJ or Alpha Theta speakers below the monitors, so it's very cool. And question for you guys, I'm going to start with this. I know Dynablend, Kurt and I talked before about his setup a while back, one of previous episodes, what stuff he has there, and he showed some video, and he's been doing some mixing up on YouTube. He's been spinning some music up there, and I caught him, was watching, and I was doing 2 things at once, listening to music he was doing, and was watching the video, and I saw him bust out a wig, and he had a wig on for a little bit and having fun and chilling. So it's always interesting when people use stuff. But I got a question for you guys, and I'm actually going to start back with Brentley on this one. Um, Bluetooth speakers. I am on the. I am one of the people that don't believe using Bluetooth speakers for professional use. I think that Bluetooth is too corrupted of a frequency. It's too much, too many headaches, too many problems. You get someone connecting. Heck, I just had it just now with my phone and my V-Moda headphones that Tracy's using. She went to connect onto the TV in the living room, and it was connected to my phone. And I was listening to a YouTube video beforehand, and it went blank. I looked down, it's connected to that. And it's just one of the things that Bluetooth is just one of those frequencies and systems that can create headaches. Now, again, if you decide to use that, that's entirely up to you. But if you do use Bluetooth, what speakers you like to hook onto with your system, or you use Bluetooth at home with a cool speaker that you got?
I'm sorry. It's a great technology for what it is, but you put it best. One, someone can tap into it. Two, the frequencies they're running on, if everybody else is running on the same bands or close to it, I'm just not willing to take that kind of chance, at a wedding or anything. Honestly, and when I need to do a remote send, I've been using my guitar wireless pack, which is better. I found it actually, at least for reception purposes and the whole 9 yards. If I need to send a remote, it's so much. The signal's stronger. I'm not going to say the signal's any cleaner because it's meant for a guitar. It's not meant. But when I'm sending, something to another room, I'm not trying to get volume necessarily, just a little bit of background noise in there for music. Nothing super high fidelity or anything. But when it comes to Bluetooth, I don't have a big enough pair to even risk it. Even when I do my ceremonies now, I've got an Everse, and honest to God's truth, yeah, I do have the mixer built into my in my iPad, but I find myself I'm too scared to go away from my Rapco Horizon LTI blocks. It's a hard line, item, and especially like with a ceremony where I'm not actually mixing. All I need to use that volume knob, just like I'm using a dial on a mixer, and that's it. I feel much more confident about that than trying to send signals anywhere. And I know people have done it. We do it with wireless mics, but maybe I'm too old fashioned. I don't know, but I just don't want to take that kind of a risk.
I look at it this way for like wireless speaker systems. I like to use. I thought I had one here. I'll look real quickly. I know I have one here. It's got to be somewhere. Maybe it fell behind the desk. But I use the Sennheiser in-ear monitor system, and I have like 4 body packs. And on each one of those body packs, the headphone jack on top, the 1/8 jack or 3.5 millimeter, I go from that to XLR into the back of a speaker. I've used that system for years and actually have the newer generation. It's Gen 3, Gen 4, most current generation from Sennheiser. And I've used that multiple times, and I've had very, 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 very few problems with it. And it's a much more robust system than Bluetooth. But, again, some people, there's a lot of DJs out there who use Bluetooth for things. I see guys that use the DJI microphones, which is Bluetooth. It's 2.4 gigahertz, is in that band. And I just kind of cringe sometimes with that. And I'm like, is that worth doing? Is that something to do? And I want to go over to Matt. And Matt, I want to get your 2 cents on that. Do you use Bluetooth? Do you not use Bluetooth? If so, what do you use Bluetooth on? And if you use a Bluetooth speaker, it doesn't matter home or for work, what is the Bluetooth speaker that you go to?
I use my Thumb Goes are Bluetooth, and they have like a rock solid connection. I've gone like 150 feet out and didn't cut out. I actually had one at a I use it for ceremony, and I had moved the speaker for cocktail hour and left my iPad on a barrel, and the coordinator had like brought over my iPad to my DJ area, and the music was still going, and I was like, "Where's the iPad?" And it's like on a side table next to my DJ booth, which is like 100+ feet away, and the music never stopped. So I think Bluetooth is rock solid for some products. In my car, there's a half a second delay, which is annoying. But I haven't noticed any real delay when just, doing music playback off an iPad. I wouldn't DJ off Bluetooth, that's for sure.
And if there's a speaker also you use at home, or is there anything else? I know you said you have the speakers you use for
soundbar.
ceremony.
Yeah, I have a soundbar at home, but it has Bluetooth. Sounds good. I don't know. Just it's a regular soundbar. I don't really listen to music outside of off my laptop when I'm prepping and then at gigs. Amazingly.
I kind of side with Brettley, how the Bluetooth concept is good. I use it for my phone in the car and that, but I mean, just about there's too many anomalies that can happen from my perspective anyway, because everything's 2.4 gigahertz. So you've got, other devices, unknowns that can, and it's not a secure network. It's, it's like, yeah, I just find it, I don't know, too many unknowns that can go wrong. And the 2.4 gigahertz with, all kinds of devices that use 2.4 gigahertz, I just don't trust it kind of thing. So I don't even use Bluetooth for, in any DJ application. So, whether it's, just to send an audio signal to something else, I just stick to, what's tried and true and, and works, something, to steal Matt's words, something that's more rock solid. But I just don't like Bluetooth. But each to their own. That's the wonderful thing about DJing. Everyone can do it.
Yeah, and again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. I'm just giving my opinion. One of the things also, like my TV in the living room, my sound bar is not connected to the TV. It does by Bluetooth. And the sound bar. So the subwoofer is connected to the sound bar, and the TV itself is connected to the sound bar, and it's all done via Bluetooth. And when you turn the sound bar on, the TV kind of pauses for a second, and I think it does when it hooks up. It kind of has the delay built in there, so I don't know if it's real time on the TV or not. But it's always interesting. And I want to ask anyone here, just a show of hands real quickly. The Alpha Theta Wave 8 portable speaker, the battery operated speaker from Alpha Theta. Does anyone here have that or have a couple? No?
Not interested.
Why, honestly, why bother? The Everse, I mean, not to sound pretentious, or the Everse has the built, you can power your microphones off of it. That's a game changer. I mean, they may not be the most pristine sounding speaker, but hands down, you're able to power your microphones off it. They have the Everse 8 and the 12 now. I can't see anybody really wanting to use the Alpha Theta. I mean, Pioneer speakers aren't exactly the go-to in the industry standard at this point.
And on the Everse, even with it powering mics, it doesn't have to be an EV mic.
Yeah.
You can get a cord made that will be compatible with your mic receiver.
Oh yeah, thank you NLFX.
And run it off the battery.
Yeah.
Standard 5.5 millimeter.
Yeah, NLFX Pro out there in Minnesota, they make those cables. Plus, what's the company in Colorado Light and Sound? They also do it too. I've bought stuff from them. There's a few companies out there that make that those cables, and that's one thing Pete brought up there. So Pete, I'm gonna go to you. Is there a Bluetooth speaker that you use either for personal use or professional use, or do you just don't use Bluetooth whatsoever?
So, like everything else, everything has its application. Bluetooth, like has been mentioned, I would not use if I was actually DJing, if I was mixing or anything, because of the built-in latency and stuff like that. I do have the Maui 5 Go 100s that have Bluetooth built in. If I have to set up a speaker in a separate room just for cocktail, I'll connect it via Bluetooth to an iPod, and I'll leave the iPod right there on the speaker. So I don't have to worry about distance, about signal cutting out or anything like that. And it just makes it for a clean look. But that's the only time I use Bluetooth in a professional setting. At home, I've got a little Logitech Bluetooth box, which is nothing but a Bluetooth receiver with some RCA outs that are plugged into my 30-year-old stereo receiver. And that box likes to hijack my devices if the Bluetooth is connected. It's like I'll be listening to something on my iPad, and all of a sudden the sound goes away, and I'm like, "Oh crap! The receiver hijacked it." So I got to turn off the Bluetooth, keep that from happening. But that's the only time. On obviously phone calls in the car and on the earbuds and that. But other than that, no. I haven't had too many issues for wireless signals, like for sending audio on that. Buddy, you and I both work at Parkway, and if for those of you who aren't familiar with Parkway, there is one corner where the DJ is set up, and it doesn't matter who's DJing; they're all in that same corner. They have a tent that's adjacent to the building where they do the ceremonies. And our speaker for the ceremony is right outside the patio door, right on the other side of the patio door from where we're set up for the reception. I'll use a X-Vive actually to get the signal out to that speaker. And I'll use the same Maui 5. And the only cable I'm running in is from the paddle and mic antenna that I run back into my system where the mic receivers are.
Yeah,
that's the only time I use Bluetooth.
There's a lot of ways of doing it. And again, I being at Parkway many times, I use the Maui 5s there for the main speakers inside the room. And it's not a huge room. It holds, if you really jam in there, you're probably doing 140 and it's really, really tight. Usually most weddings are, yeah, that's like almost standing room. 120, 110 is like the sweet spot for that place for max, unlike the other facility that the owner has. And it's the other one, you can hold 300, 350, no problem. But the thing is that it's kind of fun because, ceremonies outside and then you have the reception inside. They're in the nice weather. And it's one of the things that having flexibility is always nice to do things. And having speaker systems, having more than one speaker is always great to have, but having a option to do stuff is always smart to do. And especially a wireless system. Now there, I don't worry about too much because that's up in northern Lake County, almost Wisconsin. It's up on the Channel Lakes. And there's not so much radio frequency problems you run into as you do when you get closer and closer to the city of Chicago, where you run into more and more microphones and more people with stuff. I think up there, the worst thing that has happened to me for frequencies is the cars driving by on the road next door blaring music with obscenities during the ceremony, which I can't control. So that's the worst thing. But it's always, wonderful to see. And one thing on Pete, I know he has a vehicle for his business that it has Bluetooth in it too, right? Your vehicle you use for your business?
Yeah.
Do you ever do you do when you do phone calls in your vehicle and you're driving again your business vehicle, do you ever run into problems with that system or no?
No.
Okay.
No. The Bluetooth part of the stereo is fine. The issues that I run into is the CarPlay part of the system tends to drop connection. And I don't know if it's just because the cable works itself loose a little bit and it just doesn't maintain that connection and I have to unplug and replug. But as far as Bluetooth, no, I've never had issues.
Yeah, the one thing like
people on the other end of the call might complain because I'll run a mic in there. Mm-hmm. And they'll pick up the background noise in that if the noise cancellation isn't working. But
I know the one thing with like on my van, I had to have the phone plugged into the USB port. I don't know if Mercedes changed that out in the newer models because mine's a 2020, so it's going on 5 years. But the thing is, like my wife, her Explorer is a 2025, and that has wireless for both Android Auto and for Apple CarPlay. But we're Android, so we do Android stuff. But it's the actual native software in the system's actually Android based versus Ford got rid of the sync system, which I have in my F350, which again is another thing you got to connect to run Bluetooth, which is kind of fun. You got to connect a cable to it for Bluetooth to work through Android Auto. Just fun stuff like that.
That
So
doesn't make sense.
no, doesn't make sense. Supposed to be wireless, doesn't make sense. So Dynablend, I'm gonna go to you down there in Australia or out there in Australia. Two men who are living in the future. Paul already said about his part for Bluetooth. What about you, sir? What about Bluetooth? What do you use, if any?
I do have the JBL Compact 1, I believe it is. It's probably 12 months old, but I rarely use it on Bluetooth, but it's a good little battery speaker. So, yeah, I can't say I use Bluetooth too often. Maybe around the house I might play a few songs or something while I'm mopping the floor.
Yeah, that's usually when I find I'm using Bluetooth on my phone for stuff is connected to for music. It's like fun.
I'm not a fan of Bluetooth, to be honest.
The one thing going back to the Everse 8 from or I'm sorry, the Wave 8 on Alpha Theta. The one thing with that speaker, they have a wireless system. And I'm not sure because I don't have the speaker. I have to look at more. I think it's on digital, but it's a different frequency. And you can hook up, I believe, up to 8 units. I gotta double check that. I don't hold me to it. But it has your own wireless transmission system. You can actually daisy chain speakers, and you can run multiple speakers with it. So the Wave 8, I have not heard the speaker, so I don't know how the sound quality is on and stuff like that. But I think that's kind of impressive technology. And maybe we see that in the future that's other speakers, other speaker manufacturers, maybe EV, maybe LD, RCF, JBL, you can go through a whole entire list. Maybe they come out with something that's wireless connected like that on its own secure network to actually change frequencies. Sean, what about you? What do you do down there in Georgia? Do you use Bluetooth or anything? Do you sit back and just have everything cabled, hardline? What do you do?
Yeah, so I mean, I do Bluetooth for ceremony. I'll run the Maui 5 on Bluetooth and then just run it from a tablet. I also use the Bluetooth mics, the Hollyland Larks. I love the Hollyland Larks. I haven't had any dropout issues with them, even in Atlanta. Obviously, very congested with signals and that there. I had Phoenix before I switched to Hollyland, and I think the Hollyland got a much clearer sound than the Phoenix. I'm not a fan of Phoenix's body packs. I think they could use a little work. Love their handhelds though. But yeah, I'll use Bluetooth on the Maui 5, and then also for music bingo, trivia, I'll run Bluetooth usually for those. Never usually if I'm live mixing. Same with cocktail hour. If I'm just throwing on a playlist, like I got one coming up. They're literally not, they don't even want people really there for cocktail hour, but they don't want it quiet either. So they just want me like some smooth jazz in the background. So I'll probably throw on a playlist and Bluetooth it to a speaker.
All right. And then really quickly, I want to kind of see, I know Brentley's not here. I ask when he comes back, but I kind of want to see a show of hands. Who here uses Phoenix Pro microphones?
Oh, God, no. God, no. What is wrong with you?
Their handhelds are really good.
I've had people
None of their stuff is good.
Brentley does. I know you have a problem in LA because Matt's in the LA area. Well, not far from LA. He's in that Southern California.
Live somewhere with more than 50 people. Yes, you'll have problems.
It's the frequencies.
It's Pro right in the name.
Oh my God! They sent me.
Matt is 100% right with that.
Hold on, one person talk. Brentley.
Oh, sorry. You are 100% right with that. when I went down to Madison, I've had 2 issues with Phoenix Pro mics, and both times it was when I was in a big city.
Mm-hmm.
And when when I'm in La Crosse, yeah, we have 55,000 people in La Crosse proper. Outside of that, a lot of the wedding venues are outside of like 3 of them, most of the wedding venues are on the outskirts of town or in the boondocks. So I don't have to worry about any interference. And even their fixed signal ones, I've never had a problem with. It was honestly the PTU, the 2-unit one when I was in Madison, which a year and a half, 2 years ago, was their brand new top of the line mic that they dropped. And I dialed it out, but a cab drove, and I could see it happening. The cab drove by right during the ceremony, and you heard the cab cut in over everything. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. No, and I'd never had that problem before. And the only other time where was I at? Maybe Oconomowoc or Milwaukee, somewhere over on that side of the state. And the mic just cut out for like maybe a split second. Like I could hear the preacher talking, and then you hear it, and it was right back on. I'm like, and there was no problem after that. But those are the only 2 issues I've had outside of me being forgetting to change the batteries one. And it was in my gig log, and I knew I was supposed to change them, and I didn't do it. So that was my fault. But yeah, are they the greatest microphones in the world? By far, no. Do they hold up and take abuse? Oh yeah. I mean, I won't lie. I'm still using the same set of PTU 52s I've been using now since they gave them to me 4 years ago. Wait, what year? Yeah, 4 years ago. And I've let them loose at karaoke, and one time grabbed the wrong box. More than once I've grabbed the wrong mic box because I hadn't had them labeled at the time. But wound up using my 52s at weddings, and no problems. They do take a lot of abuse, and for the price point and the abuse they take, they're definitely worth it. Do I think I'm going to upgrade all my mics this year? 99.9% sure I am. I just haven't decided what route I'm going to go. But for the price point and, for the DJ who's doesn't bring in, figures like Matt or myself might be bringing in right now, Phoenix is a great solution for a quality product.
And I think
there's also another brand besides Phoenix. There's GTD Audio. I've bought that set, and I actually love it. The 787 model, and I even bought the body packs. I bought all their microphone accessories for it, and I have had no problems ever. They even might make a metal body instead of the plastic one for that 787.
I think the GTDs actually have a better range than the Phoenix too.
Yeah,
I have both sets, and I like the GTD better than the Phoenix.
I've tested that myself. How far they go, and they go distance. I think I probably measured over 150, 160 feet easy, because I went across the parking lot at a flea market.
So Chris, I know you for microphones you like the not Phoenix but the other brand. But what do you do for Bluetooth for microphone? I mean, for speakers, what do you do for that? Do you use Bluetooth microphones? Do you use any Bluetooth speakers? Do you use Bluetooth for anything other than connecting your vehicle?
Besides home use for Bluetooth speakers, you're actually on one now. So I have a small, tiny Bluetooth speaker that we're all listening to you guys on right now. It's more than powerful enough what I need for the computer here. I do have a bigger version of that has such great sound and bass to it, because it actually is a stereo piece. I also have the JBL flip single Bluetooth speaker as well. But as for DJing, I would not really rely on it on any type of Bluetooth. It just doesn't have the stability. You still have that half a second, quarter second, third of a second delay from when you hit that cue and start play, especially if you're going to be beat mixing. That's just too much of a gap for me, to hear and to play through. And as for speeches, it could very well cause many problems. I just don't think it's reliable. For ceremony, I can most certainly see being used for ceremony when you need to just play a song and let it transition through simply. It could be a very stable and useful tool. They do make stronger transmitters for Bluetooth for that, so you have the right dongle to the right speaker. you can get the distance if you need it.
The one thing is that doing the ceremony, if you are especially on a tablet, and I use Algorithm DJ on my tablet, but I'm hardwired in. I run USB-C into headphone jack out. Samsung makes the adapter. I get Samsung because Samsung tablet, and I had that connected via 3.5 or 1/8 jack to XLR into the mixer. And when I do that, I have the tablet. There's no latency, so if I got to back out at a certain time and start at a certain time, I'm not worrying about it's a second or two delay, and then I stop a second or two, and I maybe go too far, or I may screw up. So that's the other thing too. If you're doing ceremony, sometimes you run into that bride who wants the song to start exactly at this time or end at this time. Bluetooth can play a little havoc with that. I'm gonna go over to North Carolina and Jeff. Jeff, do you use Bluetooth for anything? And if so, what is your go-to Bluetooth speaker?
Not professionally, I do not use Bluetooth. However, both my speaker systems, the LDs and the Mackies, are capable of Bluetooth. So I have that backup. If everything else fails, if I lose my computer, if I lose my controller, I can, either with my phone or my tablet, Bluetooth in. So that is a last case, drop dead scenario. As long as I have power, you can use or you can play music for an event. Personally, around the house here, I've got a really nice JBL Extreme 3 that really gives great bass response. I use that in the hot tub, take it to the pool. I love that. It gets pretty loud for a Bluetooth speaker. I mean, it's about this big. 2 woofers on the ends, or actually they're passive radiators, I think. But that's the only Bluetooth that I use, just personally around the house, and the car. The Bluetooth my phone into my vehicle. But and I've got probably 4 or 5 of these the tiny little Bluetooth speakers. I think I may even take them to the basement, but I never use them. They were freebies from giveaways or whatever at events, and I've used them a couple of times. And before I bought the JBL, I think I used one occasionally at the pool. But that's about all I use. The JBL is the main Bluetooth that I use.
And that's the fun stuff. You collect things. I'm thinking what I have for Bluetooth speakers. I use it for when we do rehearsals for ceremonies, but it actually has a headphone jack input in the back, but it's from Harman Kardon. It's what's it? I can't remember the name of it. It's a round speaker, has a big woofer. It actually has some pretty good sound. If we're doing a rehearsal, we have 15 or 20 people. It's a great little speaker. It is Bluetooth capable. I've used the Bluetooth for music for actually at my daughter's place for a couple backyard parties. Off my phone with my own music, my own playlist. I have the MP3s. I ask her what she wants, load the MP3s up my phone, and just put it in a folder and boom, hit that folder. But I also have I've had for quite a while a Bose Bluetooth speaker, the older gray one that's kind of looks kind of oval. It says Bose in the front. I have that. It actually sits on top of a charging dock, and that speaker actually has some pretty good sound. And sometimes if I'm doing something, I want some music and grab that. But my wife is taking that over more for her music when she's at her desk. So the things that you have and the things that you don't have. Crossfire, I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling 100%. Hopefully you feel better. You'll catch a show later, but thank you for tuning in. Adrian, I see you out there. And White Claws, that's his comment for Brentley for White Claws. I know someone else who likes White Claws too. Another great DJ who likes White Claws, so nothing wrong with that. Dwayne, what about you? Do you use Bluetooth at all? Do you play Bluetooth? Do you play Bluetooth at your house, or do you actually use it in the field?
I use it all the time. I use it like when I work with my students, when we play like YouTube videos or just streaming off my phone, because every time you look up, somebody's asking me to play music. And I usually have like one of those party speakers, a Sony XB60, I believe, the one that lights up. That has this built-in Bluetooth. But as far as events goes, I'll do Bluetooth when I first get there, when I set up my speaker just to have music going, or when I break down just to have music keep going. There's a Bluetooth built in the MLS 1000 speakers. So I use that. But if I don't have a Bluetooth speaker, there's the Alto Donner
Okay.
that you can plug into XLR input that I'll use. But as far as DJing, I wouldn't use that for DJing because there's, that latency issue going on. So if I have to do something wirelessly, I'll use one of those Sennheiser XLR Donners. Then that's pretty good. It's reliable too.
So I want to see a show of hands now. We're talking about mics before and microphones. We said about two brands already, and Phoenix Pro is one, and GTS another one, and was it GTS or GTD? GTD. I'm sorry, GTD. I want to say GTE, the old phone company, but that I'm thinking of that now. I'm showing my age. But who here? I'm gonna get a show of hands, and I know Matt doesn't like this brand either, so I know Matt's not gonna put his hand up. Shure microphones. Who uses Shure microphones, wireless or wired? Okay. Who uses Sennheiser? Who uses Sennheiser?
And my mics don't cut out like yours do.
All right. Who?
I'm gonna battle him.
Who uses Audio-Technica? Anyone
I
use
hate them too.
Audio-Technica?
They're garbage.
So I'm the only person who uses Audio-Technica here. Okay.
Risk taker.
I use Audio-Technica for I have the lapel microphones in a 2.4 gigahertz, but they're locked in on the frequency. I never really run into a problem with dropping it unless someone's way far away. I'm talking about very far away. And I have handheld Audio-Technica. I like the sound of Audio-Technica. The Sennheisers, I feel they're a little more robust of equipment. So I have both systems, and I like them both. The sound-wise between the two, there is a difference between the two in sound, but I do like both of them. Anyone here has electric voice for a microphone? Oh, we got a couple electric voice microphone. Okay. Then I have here PreSonus. I have a microphone here from them. Actually, very, very good. Anyone here have another brand of microphone that they use? Any off-brand that they use? Anything they got off of Amazon or Wish or from the friends at Temu or anything like that? Any microphones from there? No?
I have some wired ones.
Special.
Yeah.
All right, one person at a time.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Sorry, Dwayne, go.
All right, I have some wired ones, but I forget what brand it is.
Okay.
Yeah, this one here, this is what I use for, to talk to you guys. It's a Kmart special $39 USB microphone.
Sounds all right.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Got some nice depth to
So,
it.
and that's with the mic sock on it. So, yeah. And it comes with the cradle as well. So $39, can't complain.
No, not at all. And especially with the exchange rate for Australia. I know you guys stuff here is like way cheaper than it is there for certain products, and it just amazes me on the price. And they tell me,
Paul, touch that EV over your left shoulder there, buddy.
which EV? Oh, that one. There
Oh, it's
we
not
go.
really there.
The RE20, the trusty RE20.
Yeah, that's a $900 mic.
It's rusted in
be
place.
stroking
It won't move. It's an old mic stand. Check 1 2 1 2.
Loud and clear. Very good. Yeah, and it's always interesting what people use, and there's no right or wrong answer to what you use because you use what you're happy with. And I know again, Matt's in a major market like I'm in. You run into frequency problems, and that's one of the big things that you have to look at. What is the best frequencies? Uh, Want to also get a show of hands here on for 2025. So going forward now, we're just starting 2025. Is anyone here? And I've asked this a few times before for 2025. I've not asked this yet. Is anyone here besides Brentley looking to upgrade microphones? Anyone here looking to upgrade microphones? No.
Why
Paul,
upgrade when you have the best?
And Sean,
no reason upgrade just yet. The bloody Shores won't die, even though I don't rate them.
My Shure SM58 handheld microphone that I use behind the booth, it's been dropped. It's had alcohol spilt on it, and it still goes like it's brand new. So yeah, my corded SM58 mic is
a lot of guys love SM58 corded mic SM58. A lot of guys do.
I still have a lot of the older wireless ones, the SM58 heads.
Yeah.
And here's a tip and trick that I've learned that I've actually put the SM58 head on the GTD audio and it works, no problem.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly, and even I know this manufacturer will probably kill me. It also works on the EV-RE3. The SM58.
There you go, some tips and tricks. You run into a problem. You need a replace a head real quick. You can do it. You kind of want to keep the same manufacturer, but in a pinch, you gotta do something. It's always the fun stuff. But since we talked about all these speakers and Bluetooth and stuff like that, I want to get another sense of items here from you guys. Now and again, I went through, everyone asked who using Bluetooth, who's not using Bluetooth, and what do you use it for, and so forth, so on. But anyone else here besides myself use wireless speakers at least once or twice? I do it much more than that. A couple times a year, use a wireless speaker system. No, I'm the only one here. Anyone?
Yeah.
Used
to.
Ceremonies,
okay. So, anyone here want to learn about wireless speaker systems? And do you think we should do a show about that so I can teach you guys and have you guys understand? Or what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it'd be a good idea, I think, just to retouch up on that for
quick show of hands who would like to see a show on wireless speaker system.
Sure.
Why not?
Got a couple. Okay. And the reason why I asked that is because the fact that maybe that could be a future topic for us. And it's always, one of the things that, like I said before, I always like try and make sure you guys have enough information and enough fun stuff. But going back to the Bluetooth area, is there anything out there, and again, I want to see a show of hands, that you hate about your regular speaker because it has Bluetooth on it? Would you rather have Bluetooth or an extra channel there for that speaker? So who here likes the single channel Bluetooth? Like on the Maui 5, it's the channel 3 or channel 4, wherever the one is. You have a separate volume for it. An RCF has it too, and has a separate channel for that. Or you rather see that as a channel input channel, like another microphone input. Who would rather see that on a speaker with Bluetooth? If they drop the Bluetooth and put another XLR port onto a speaker. Anyone? Another XLR port?
I would take that.
Yeah.
I would definitely take it.
I don't really buy my speakers because they have the Bluetooth. It's just a nice option that is there for a backup, but I don't buy them because it's there.
There's some DJs that do. Some DJs who do look for that option, and I always, again, I Brantley thinks like me. There's a few others think like me. It's just, I guess, again, I don't know if it's because I'm trying to stick my head in the sand or what for that, or I understand the technology and I just don't trust the technology. I don't know either way you look at it. I just feel that there's other ways of doing things. And then really quickly here, where I see that. Oh, Pete, I asked this 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go back to it, and you weren't on here, and I also going to ask Kurt it too. If you were beginning DJ, what would be your beginning speakers you would go to? What would be a set if I was starting out and I needed to have a nice starter set? Not really expensive. Not spending thousands of dollars, not getting evolved 70s or 90s or
Meyer Audio.
Meyer Audio. Yeah, Meyer Audio for first set. Yeah, that would be
Meyer Audio?
Yeah. Meyer Audio, yeah, $20,000 for a speaker. Yeah, that'd be great.
Bass Boss.
Yeah,
couple with some baseball subs.
Yeah,
I saw that NAM. Those things pump.
Yeah, I have a pair of baseball subs on the way. I pulled the trigger on some.
Oh yeah, you were saying it. That's right.
Then I pulled. I got a pair of the KC12s in white, only because I could get them at dealer cost, which is significantly lower than how much they actually cost.
Well, there's map price and retail price.
I'm trying to track down the folks that designed the giant speaker from Back to the Future. I needed a pair of those.
That was a 10-foot speaker. So, Pete, what would be your introductory speaker you would tell a DJ to get for a nice starter pair?
A beginning DJ is going to be looking at price more than anything. Keeping it relatively inexpensive, but still somewhat quality. Probably an Eon. Eon
10 or 12.
Whatever the current iteration is.
I think is it the 7 series or 8 series? It's been a while since I looked at JBL.
Yeah, I don't know what series they're at now. I still have my G2s, but those weren't even my first speakers. Yeah, probably the Eons or something in that price point.
Okay.
Just
so
would you
whether it's JBL, whether it's Mackie.
Would you recommend a 10 or 12?
At least a 12, probably.
Okay. A 12.
I'd probably go with the LD Dave system. I like those because you get a pair of 10s and you get a subwoofer as well. So
which system?
The LD systems, the Dave.
Oh, Dave system.
Yeah.
Now, what's the? I don't know what the retail price down there is for at the lookup. LD.
For which particular speaker?
What's the retail price down there for the Dave system?
Hang on a sec. Bear with me. I'll have a quick look.
Because I'm looking at a Dave system here, and it's like a Dave 10 is like $1,200.
Yeah.
And they go, and then they have some, depends what size you get. They have an 18, they have a 10-inch woofer, a 15-inch woofer.
Yeah.
So they have a couple of different woofer sizes, but the 10-inch woofer and two tops, $1,200. That's like $600 a side. That's not bad price, kind of higher end.
Yeah, actually, it'd be less than.
All right, this is the Dave G4X compact powered 15-inch subwoofer and two 8-inch satellites. It's $2,500 from a place called Store DJ here in Melbourne.
So that Dave system, is that kind of like the old B52 systems?
Kind of. But the B52 had, I want to say, was a 15-inch woofer, and they were.
I think, it was one woofer and two tops.
Yeah, and the woofer powered the tops. And I think this one works. Remember correctly.
Same idea with the Daves. Yeah.
And then they also have that one on Amazon / Temu, ProRec does the same thing. Very inexpensive. I wouldn't recommend it. I know I've seen people who've gotten it, and I just cringe at it. But they're like, I want to say it's like $600, $500, $600, $700 for their system. They have an 18-inch woofer, and they have two tops, and they kind of look like arrays, but they're not arrays. So I wouldn't say that's the best quality to go to. But again, Pete is correct. Starting out DJ, they are looking at price range.
Yeah, there's a brand here in Australia or at a place called DJ City, and there's a brand, I guess it's kind of like their cheap house brand called Vonix, which is also a brand that's hugely popular in the UK. And there's a set of speakers that are much like the Evox 12s, and they charge about $700 Australian for these speakers, but I mean, they'd be all right for a young guy, a teenager starting out practicing at home and stuff, but probably not so good for taking out on the road. But maybe it's like we all got to start somewhere, I guess. If you're going to start with budget brands, 'cause
Yeah, even,
we can't all rush out and buy the latest and greatest Krakatoas and all that sort of stuff.
And
not like the old days when my first system was a CS800 PV-CS800 amp with two PV-115 internationals.
And that's the thing is that it's you're starting out. There's a lot of things you want to look at. The maximum peak SPL on the Dave is 120, which the Maui 5s are the same. The Maui 5s, I would say it's a better unit because you have separate speakers and separate subwoofers, and you can run them separately versus have to connect the two to the center. So it's one of the things that you got to look at what's best for you. But Kurt, for you in Australia, what would you say would be a great starter speaker down there?
Do I dare say the Eons? But I've had a set. I got rid of them. Speaking of Bluetooth, they have Bluetooth capabilities, but all it was for tuning. You couldn't actually stream music to them. So when they first come out, people were like, WTF, it says it's got Bluetooth, but all it is for is the Connect app for tuning. Yeah. Besides that, maybe some JBLs or something with a larger woofer. You're not going to have a subwoofer for your first few gigs. Something that can push a little bit of bass.
One of the things I was told by a few DJs in the know, actually one really good friend of mine, that actually talks to engineers and actually has been to factories. He is a big fan of the 12-inch woofer because of the fact that it gives great mid bass. And if you have a subwoofer, 15, 18, whatever size, that right there will take the lower end bass, but you still have a 12-inch woofer gives great mid bass, or a 10. 10 would be the second choice, but first choice would be a 12-inch woofer. So the people who got like the QSC K12s or a PRX 12 or whatever you want to fill in the blank here, 12-inch speaker, LD systems, ICOA 12s, whatever you want to look at. That's one of the big ones. I think Bass Boss does a 12. So if you're looking at stuff, that's always a good one too.
I think the Bass Boss is a band pass. That's how they produce so much bass. Does anyone know? The cabinet itself?
They're just ported. They're just
ported.
larger.
Is that it?
They've got these huge. It's just physics. They push a ton of air. So it's size and then the design of the woofer, and I'm sure there's some amp trickery in there somewhere, but yeah.
Old school engineering.
Yeah, they I know they have huge magnets in the back of those woofers. They're monster magnets, and they if you look at their weights, they weigh a good amount, and that's because of the huge magnet they put in the back of their woofers. Because again, they want to move that volume of air. That's why their SPLs are like 136 and 138 and 135. They're up there pretty high for the amount of pressure wave they're giving out for subs. And that's the thing you want to look at. If you're starting out, again, we go back to what we talked about on previous episode, is if you're starting out, you want something that's going to move a good amount of air. That's why you look at SPL is very important. Never pay attention to wattage. Wattage is just how much it consumes. If someone asks you how fast your car is or your truck or SUV, and you say, oh, I get 15 miles to the gallon or 20 miles to the gallon, that's how much you consume versus, hey, I go from 0 to 60 in whatever the time slot is, or in for Australians, it's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. That's your guys' benchmark. But it's all about, you want to know how fast you get to that speed, what your horsepower is, not how much fuel you're consuming. So that's the thing. If you're looking at speakers, always compare SPL to SPL. Within one SPL, you're not going to hear a difference. It's not until you hit 3 SPL that's when you start noticing a difference. It'd be like 1 octave is 3 SPL. So you see 120 versus 121, it's about the same.
Buddy, I've got to correct you on your Australian terminology there. It's flat out like a lizard drinking.
You Aussies have different terms than we have here in the States, so
I don't know
that's
where
fine.
they came up with that one.
But as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I want to thank the panel for being here tonight, having fun, hanging out. Pete, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I
Sure,
definitely got to have you back up
me.
here again, because the wealth of knowledge and information coming from everyone is always great, and it's always great to have any more depth of knowledge and stuff. Kurt, thank you for coming in from Australia. I know you can't always be here because of your schedule and stuff like that. It's like lunchtime over there in Australia on Wednesday versus like 8 o'clock at night here on Tuesday, right? It's like noon, 1
p.m.
Yeah, so it's like lunchtime, a little after lunchtime. So I appreciate you guys spending your time here and hanging out with us. For them, it's daytime. For us, it's nighttime, and for some people, it could be bedtime. Especially the people on the East Coast, they're an hour ahead. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank you all for watching. And I'm gonna have who's gonna take us out tonight? I'm gonna have Dwayne take us out tonight. I haven't had Dwayne take us out for a bit. Dwayne, take us home, brother.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and joining us on the DJ Roundtable. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.